Hi everyone, we are Taiko Project and we come to you all the way from across the street at the Higashi Honganji Buddha Temple on 3rd Street. And we are so happy to be here at Janam for the Natsumatsuri to share with you the art of Taiko. Now Taiko is exactly what you see here on stage, these big drums, and this art form comes from Japan. And it is believed that this was first played by farmers actually, who played the drums because they thought it sounded like thunder. So they would play the drums to summon the rain to ensure a bountiful harvest. Soon after that, taiko started being played in more formalized occasions such as in kabuki and no theater. And it wasn't until about 60 years ago that taiko started being played in the form that you see here on stage today, this group style drumming that is called kumi daiko. And the man credited for creating the first kumi daiko group is a man named Daihachi Oguchi, and he is a Japanese jazz drummer. And the story goes is that he found this ancient taiko sheet music that was designed for only one taiko player, and he thought, I actually want to try playing this with all my friends. So he got his friends together and formed the very first kumi daiko group called Osuwa Daiko. Another early prominent kumi daiko group is Oero Tsukeroku Taiko, and they are based out of Tokyo, Japan. And they developed a new style of drumming called Yodan. Yo meaning four, Dan meaning sides, and that's the setup that we have here right now. It involves a drum in the middle and a tall stand on its side, and then on either side of that drum are two drums at a slant at an angle. And this style allows for big movements, choreography, and soloing. And this next piece that we're going to perform for you is our take on Yodan called Many Sides.
Hey, sweetie. All right, thank you so much. Once again, that last piece was called Many Size, which is derived from Skedoku Taiko's Yodan Uchi. Now, Audrey talked to you a little bit about the history of taiko in Japan, but taiko also has a very rich history right here in the United States. So the story begins in 1968. A man named Seiichi Tanaka immigrated from Japan to San Francisco, California. And there's a very famous cherry blossom festival where he was, spending his time eating the Japanese food that he remembered, drinking the Japanese drinks that he loved. But then there was one thing missing, and that was the sound of the taiko drums. So what he did is he went back to Japan, studied with Skedoku Taiko for 1 year, and then brought the very first set of drums back to the United States, to San Francisco. And then in 1969, he started the very first American taiko group, the San Francisco Taiko Dojo. A couple years later, right here in Los Angeles, the second taiko group was formed out of Senshin Buddhist temple called Kinara Taiko. Now, their style of taiko came from the idea of playing together, and being a Buddhist temple, they had this idea of community that really brought their taiko group together as one. So they also created a very cost-efficient way to create taiko drums, because one of the big drums that you see, which we call chudaiko, one of those alone costs about $10,000 to make. So if you can imagine, an early taiko group probably didn't have the funds to buy these taiko drums. So instead they made a very cost-efficient way to make taiko drums, and that is to use barrels. And then they got cowhide to stretch over the drums and made a very cost-efficient way to make taiko drums. And so because of that, now there's over 220 groups all across the United States. So, as you can imagine, a lot of us did not grow up listening to Japanese traditional music. We enjoy listening to music that's very popular here, like pop music, jazz, classical, country, maybe even bluegrass. But we use those inspirations of different genres in our music too. In this next piece, Here We Go Now, you're going to see influences from marching band choreography, as well as interlocking hip-hop rhythms. We hope you enjoy. Here we go now.
All right, how are you enjoying the show so far? Good, yay! I'm so glad. So right now we're going to take a moment to introduce some of the drums that we have here for you today. The first one here is called a shime daiko. Shime comes from the word shimeru in Japanese, which translates to close or to tighten. The way that this drum is made is that there is those two white portions on the top and the bottom. Those are our drum heads, the part that we hit on. There is a hollowed out piece of wood in the center. It's kind of hard to see on this one. And that's a single piece of wood that is hollowed out. And then those black like screws and bolts on the side, those are bolts, and those are what we use to tighten the drum. So the tighter we can get the drum, the higher the pitch. And that's kind of our goal, is to get this drum to be as high pitched as we can. Okay? And Doug here is going to demonstrate what this shime daiko sounds like. Thank you, Doug. That was the shime daiko. Next up, we have the okedo daiko. Can you all say okedo daiko? Okedo daiko, good. So oke, it's kind of split up in two words. So oke, the first half of the word is a bucket. It translates to bucket, and do is body. So when you stick those two words together, it's okedo. It's a bucket body drum. This one is kind of special. It's a little bit unique from the other ones because we have the true drum heads. Instead of screws, we have the rope now, but the middle body portion is actually really light. It's not a single piece of wood, it's multiple light pieces of wood that are kind of stuck together. So that's why it's light enough for us to carry it around our shoulders and walk around and play at the same time. Or we can play it upright on a stand like this. And Keiko here is going to demonstrate our okedo daiko. You'll kind of also notice a pattern too, as we progress through our drums, you'll hear that the sound gets a little bit deeper and lower every time. So the first two ones are kind of the higher pitched drums, they're our smaller drums. Now we're going to get into our mid-sized drum. This is our chu daiko. Chu in Japanese translates to middle or middle sounding, right? So, and you'll notice also our sticks, the bigger the drums, the bigger our drumsticks. Typically what happens. So now Courtney here is holding our chu daiko sticks. You'll see that they're a little bit fatter. This one is similar to the shime daiko. It's the true drum head. It's a single hollow piece of wood. It's a really big piece of hollowed wood, right? And then those black dots on the side, those are tacks, and we hand make all these drums. So we don't, but we have a drum maker that does it, but they tack it on by hand. So it takes a lot of time and patience to make one drum. Courtney here is going to demonstrate our chu daiko. All right, everybody, this is our last drum that we have. It is our biggest one. This is our o daiko. O in Japanese translates to large or really big. So it's our largest drum. It's our deepest sounding drum. It's on a big stand. It's kind of intimidating. So we have to have a really good, solid, buff, intimidating, strong taiko player to play this drum, okay? And today we have Audrey. Everybody give it up for Audrey. She's been warming up all morning long to play this for you. So here we go. Here's the old daiko. Thank you, Audrey.
Alright, so we talked about the different types of instruments that we have. There's actually one more instrument that you can't actually see, but you can hear, and that is our voice. So we call this kiai in taiko. Can you say kiai? Yeah. So we use kiai, or we use our voice in 3 different ways for taiko. The first way is to encourage each other. So if you've heard us kind of yelling at each other, we're not like mad or anything, we're giving that encouragement to each other. So for example, if someone around here and Audrey was here playing, you know, it's kind of hot out here, we're getting a little bit tired, so we would kiai, or use our voice to encourage Audrey so that way she can finish her solo like this. And she finishes strong. The second way we use kiai, or our voice in taiko, is to start a piece. So if you maybe have heard like a rock band might start off like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we start off a little bit similar to that, but maybe a little bit different. So I would say ichi ni, which is 1, 2 in Japanese, and then everyone would respond with so re, and then we would all hit together and know when to start. So if I were to say ichi ni, then we know exactly when to play. And if I wanted to start the song a little bit faster, it would sound something like this. Ichi ni, ichi ni, ichi ni, and so on and so forth. Our third way we use our voice in taiko is to learn our music. If you have played Western music, you might have seen sheet music that has notes written on them, so you can learn from that. For taiko, we have more of an oral tradition, so we use our voice. So for every sound that the drum makes, we have a word associated with that sound. So if we were to hit one loud hit in the center of the drum, we call that don. Can you say don? And if we hit 2 loud hits in the center of the drum, we call that doko. And 2 quiet hits in the center of the drum, we say suku. And 2 hits on the rim of the drum, we say kara. So we can take these words and turn them into phrases for lines in a song. So I can say something with these words and Jenny can play it perfectly on the drum. So we're gonna try that a little bit. So if I were to say, don tsuku, don tsuku, don, don, don. Or don kara, doko, don, don. So she can play it perfectly. So, but Jenny's been playing for a while, so we're gonna try something maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit harder, just to test her out. Yeah. All right. So let's try. Doro kara don 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 kara kaka. Doro kara don 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 kara kaka. Doro kara don don doro kara don don doro kara doro kara doro kara doro kara doro kara don 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 kara kaka. Alright, so we have one more piece for you, and then we have a special part of our program after that. But our last piece that we're going to play for you is a piece called omiyage, and this piece means gift in Japanese. So this is sort of a thank you to you all for being here, because without you and the audience, we would have no one to share our music with. So we thank you for being here, and this is our last song, but we do have one more special part after this song. So thank you. This is omiyage.
Thank you very, very much. Again, that piece was called Omiyage. And as you heard Kate's alluding to, we have now arrived to the end of our program, but the best part, because that is when we like to give our audience members a chance to play. Would you be interested in playing? Yeah! So before we invite you up, there are a few things that we need to know and that we need to practice. First of all, we need to know how to start our song. So if you heard us as a group, when Cakes led us off by saying each knee, does anyone remember what we respond? Oh, you guys were listening, I love it. Okay, so let's give it a shot. I'm gonna change the tempo and you guys need to respond with a big sore. And I might try to trick you, so you gotta pay attention to the timing of my each knee, okay? So I'm gonna say each knee. Each knee. Each knee. Each knee. Each knee. Oh, you guys are ready to start. Okay, now we need to know what to play. So we're gonna introduce a drill that we know called oroshi. Can you guys say oroshi? Oroshi is a pattern where we play with the beats very, very far apart. And as time goes by, they get closer and closer and closer. And so the drummers will play faster and faster and faster until their arms feel like they're gonna fall off. And we keep going. So Cakes here is gonna demonstrate the oroshi. We have to give her a nice big sore, and she's going to demonstrate by alternating her right hits, then her left, right, left, and get faster and faster. Okay, are you ready, Cakes? Audience, are you ready? All right, here we go. Each knee, sore. Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you, Cakes. So as you saw, it is a series of don where we're hitting in the middle of the drum and we get faster and faster. Now I think we are ready to have some of you audience members come and join us. So if you're interested in trying out the drums, please raise your hand and we will have members from Taiko Project give you a high five or point at you. You'll know if you're picked. There are 10 spots. I think we will have time to do 2 different rounds. So if you find an empty drum, please come and find that drum and pick up the sticks that are next to the drum. We're not playing yet because we're a group drumming, so we're gonna play all together. If you find that there are no drums available, have no fear. You'll be part of our second group, and we'll just ask you to stay to the side of the drums, and then your group will be called up. Okay, so know there are sticks that correspond with the drum size, just as Jenny mentioned. The small sticks will go, the bachi I should call them, they'll go with the smaller drums, and the bigger sticks go with the bigger drums. Now, there is one thing I forgot to mention, and that is how we stand at the drum. So, I don't know if you guys noticed, but when we stand at the drum, we have to have a very strong stance. So Cakes here is gonna demonstrate. She's gonna lift her left leg, and she's gonna put it to the left side of the drum. This knee is going to be bent, and then her right leg will go to the other side of the drum, but farther back, okay? So once we have our strong, we call this our horse stance, we have to hold on to the bachi, one in each hand, and I wanna see everybody bring those bachi all the way up to the sky. So we have such a strong hit. Okay, well, we are going to play the oroshi. We wanna make sure that we start all together, so we need to practice that first. So our audience members on stage, we're gonna start off with just hitting one hit. We wanna make sure we can hit that one hit all together. So I will say each knee. Everybody in the audience, you know what to do. You're gonna say sore, and you guys are gonna play just one hit following Cakes. So when she moves her hand, you're gonna strike the drum. You guys ready? You sure? Yeah. Okay, here we go. Each knee. Very nice. I think they're ready to go on. What do you guys think? That was pretty good, right? All right, let's make it more challenging. We're gonna follow Cakes still. You're gonna go very slow and get faster and faster following Cakes. And then you're gonna keep going until she raises her arms up for that last hit. Here we go. Each, knee, so, put your bachi on the ground where you found them and make your way back to your seats. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's have the next group come on up. Find an empty drum. Now I should take this time to say we are opening classes that we will be teaching for beginners, both adults and youth. And at the end of our program, we have some flyers. So if you are interested in signing up for one of our classes and learning more than just the oroshi, then please come on by, say hello, and we can give you that flyer so you can get more information. Our classes are on Sundays and Mondays, and all that registration information will be on our flyers. Okay, group 2. Are you guys ready? Let's get into our stances. We're gonna have Cakes come up back here and show off our stance. Remember that left leg is forward and bent next to the drum. Our right leg is all the way back for our strong horse stance. We have bachi, one in each hand, raised high up in the sky. Now you guys have the advantage of watching the group in front of you, so we're gonna make it a little bit more challenging. We're gonna introduce the concept of dynamics. And to do that, Cakes is gonna use her body here, and when she gets really, really low to the ground, crouched down low, you guys are gonna still play fast, but very quietly. And then when she's gonna stand nice and tall, you're gonna play as loudly as you can. Okay, you guys got it? I think we can go right into it. You guys ready? Audience ready? Here we go. Each, knee, so, go. On the ground, find your seats. If you're up here and you're interested in one of the flyers, we'll have Taiko Project members pass out the flyers. Jenny?